Leave it to former Pittsburgh Steelers safety and current ESPN analyst Ryan Clark to create another storyline surrounding his former head coach in Mike Tomlin. When he's not making the plea for Tomlin to go to a new team and have his Andy Reid moment, Clark is now apparently questioning Tomlin's credentials, stating on ESPN Tuesday that Tomlin has underachieved in his career. Clark's comments have sparked a debate, which carried over onto ESPN's Get Up Wednesday morning with the likes of former NFL GM Mike Tannenbaum, longtime analyst Louis Riddick, and NFL insider Dan Graziano. None of those three believe Tomlin has done anything close to underachieve in his career. Yeah, I get what Ryan Clark saying, like that night Super Bowl 45 you would have thought, oh, we're going to have a Super Bowl again over and over and over again. It made sense. But it's hard to get to one Super Bowl, let alone go to multiple. This is one of those things. Tom Brady wrecked it for everybody. Which recent Steeler team should have been in the Super Bowl based on its roster? Graziano said, according to video via ESPN. By that I mean I think Mike Tomlin gets the absolute most he can out of every single team he coaches. And if you want to criticize him for whatever role he has in building those rosters, I think that's fair. But once he gets to coaching it, I don't think there's anybody that could do more with what he's got than Mike Tomlin. Graziano raises a good point. Outside of the 2016 and maybe the 2017 Steelers, which teams that Tomlin has led to the playoffs in recent memory should have reached the Super Bowl? You'd be hard-pressed to name one. While the criticism regarding the lack of recent playoff success under Tomlin is entirely fair, as is the frustration with the way the roster has been built over the years, it's incredibly hard to make it to the Super Bowl once, let alone multiple times. Championships are the standard in the Steel City, though, and the Steelers have fallen painfully short of that standard in recent years. Despite coming up short of reaching those standards, the Steelers do deserve some credit for being competitive and being in the playoff picture year after year despite flawed rosters. Tomlin knows how to win in the regular season and keep his team relevant late into the year. Just getting into the dance is a feat in its own right. Anything can happen there in single elimination formats. Unfortunately for the Steelers, what's been happening is one-and-done trips, leading to plenty of frustration and questions about Tomlin's future in the Steel City. The Steelers are very clearly in a transition period right now, though. They're still trying to find their way at quarterback, all while turning over the roster, bringing in new faces on the coaching staff, and even in the front office, too. These things take time, and the Steelers are still retooling. They believe they're a much better team this year, and there's a lot of hope with this year's team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback under Tomlin. Will it pay off with success in the playoffs? That remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, Tomlin is going to get quite a bit out of this roster, even if there are some flaws and questions unanswered. Steelers rookie QB Will Howard is ready to learn everything Aaron Rodgers is willing to teach him, except for one thing. That's the mechanics that are unique to the future Hall of Famer, he says, which he knows he can't replicate. Everything else, though, he is ready and willing to be an eager pupil at the knee of the Great One. Aaron's just been so willing to help me, Howard said on the Chipped Ham and Football podcast with Brian Batko. It's a point he has made numerous times in a short span, considering Rodgers just signed. Whether on the field or in the meeting room, however, he has been a gracious teammate. He's literally like, as much or as little as you want me to help you, I'll be there. He's already given me tips, little things here and there. Even in the meeting room, on the field, my drops, different little things, Howard said. But he also said there are some things he can't help him with. Obviously, I can't do the things that he can do mechanically, so I don't want to replicate that too much because that's pretty unique, Howard said, understanding that sometimes the great ones like Rodgers have their own way of doing things. But for the most part, everything that I can learn from that guy is invaluable. So I'm like, dude, as much as you want to pour into me. Well, Howard already has one familiar vet in the room in Skylar Thompson, with whom he played in college. Mason Rudolph has also welcomed him with open arms. But let's not kid ourselves in thinking that receiving that treatment from Aaron Rodgers isn't on a completely different level. I want everything you can give me. I'm gonna take everything, Howard said of his response to Rodgers. I'm just excited to watch him work and go about his business and see and take notes on how he operates. Well, Howard still has a lot to learn as a rookie, but he is in a great situation. Having the familiarity of Thompson, the experience of Rudolph, and the expertise of Rodgers, he can see the game from a number of angles. Even OC Arthur Smith agrees. Having Rodgers here is fantastic for Howard. Of course, Will Howard also understands that he is the understudy to the understudy of Aaron Rodgers. Under no circumstances do the Steelers anticipate playing the rookie this season, with Rudolph serving as the backup. But they also want to learn about Howard and what the future might hold for him. It's extremely unlikely that he changes their plans for 2026, though. The Steelers are likely targeting a first-round quarterback in next year's draft. Will Howard will still be here, but Aaron Rodgers likely will not. All the more reason, then, to learn what he can from him now. By this time next year, he could be tasked with teaching a rookie instead of explaining a play to Rodgers. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay Packers will face off against each other in Week 8 of the 2025 NFL season on Sunday Night Football. That game will feature new Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers going up against his old team and his replacement in Jordan Love. While that game is still quite a long time from now, the two teams are being connected ahead of the upcoming campaign. Now that Rodgers is in Pittsburgh on a one-year deal, the Steelers are likely to pursue any move they can make to improve their Super Bowl chances. Making a move for one of the former superstar quarterback's old weapons could make a lot of sense for both teams. As for the Packers, their wide receiver room is stacked with talent. Right now, they have Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jayden Reed, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, and Dontayvion Wicks as their top options, and also have Bo Melton on the roster. One analyst has suggested a trade between the two teams that would send one of Green Bay's many wideouts to Pittsburgh. CBS Sports analyst Cody Benjamin has suggested Watson as a potential trade target for the Steelers. Watson may well be the most gifted player in the Packers' wide receiver room, but there's a reason Green Bay spent 2 early draft picks at the position this April. The 26-year-old veteran has missed multiple games due to injury in each of his first 3 NFL seasons, giving the Pack a true boom-or-bust experience on the perimeter, Benjamin wrote. With both Matthew Golden and Savion Williams in line for significant roles as rookies, might the Packers be willing to sell Watson as he recovers from an ACL tear? Rodgers might have to wait until later in 2025 to reunite with the speedster as a result, but the potential for late-season fireworks might make the gamble worthwhile. Since being drafted with the number 34 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, Watson has failed to live up to the hype that he came into the league with. He has been a good deep threat, but has not been able to develop into being more than that. In 38 career games, Watson has racked up 98 receptions for 1,653 yards and 14 touchdowns. Pittsburgh needs a deep threat. Rodgers could work wonders with a 1-2 punch of DK Metcalf and Watson. While the young wideout will miss time due to the torn ACL, he'll return at some point in the season. Adding him to the roster would add a lot more firepower to the Pittsburgh offense, which could be worth the risk and cost of acquiring him.